You're listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast, the show that helps you build wealth faster, think outside the box, and break out of the herd. Here's your host, Jim Oliver.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Jim Oliver. This is Breakaway Wealth. And today we're going to talk about a couple of things that I think just get in people's way on building wealth and having abundance. And, it's just, it's our mindset, right? So this is a solo episode, no guests, just me and you. So let's just dive in. So we're going to call this The Science of Getting Rich. Has anybody ever read Wattles book from 1910, The Science of Getting Rich? And, that word rich was different in 1910. So I wouldn't say the science of getting just money, right? He's talking about being wealthy and he's talking about having abundance. But it's an old book from 1910, right? And it wasn't, it's just some people have read it, but we just sometimes need to be reminded of these things. Getting rich is about luck or being a good little saver. It's science with rules. You break those rules and you stay broke. Follow them and you build wealth, period. It's a science. It's a formula. Okay. It's just like any other scientific formula. So let me say something most people are scared to admit. Being broke is selfish. Being in poverty is selfish. When I was a kid and I grew up in poverty, I didn't have impact on anyone. I couldn't help anyone else. It wasn't until I had resources that I could help other people. And you can't help other people, fully serve God, or live your purpose if you're just stuck in survival mode. And the science of getting rich isn't a theory. Again, it's a formula, one that the wealthy already use. And in the herd, they just keep ignoring it. And this podcast is for people that want to break away from the herd or already have broken away from the herd. Okay, so here's some of the core things that I'm going to talk about from this book and help you maybe shift your mindset to having more of this formula and this science in your life. There's a thinking stuff from which all things are made. A person can form things in their thought by expressing that thought upon formless substance, and that can cause that thing to be created, right? So people call it manifesting something. Now, I don't believe we manifest things. I believe God manifests things for us when we focus on them, right? But what is this formless substance? It's energy. Now, is it formless? I don't know. I'm not a very good student, so I wouldn't know. I'm not good at science like that. But thoughts are energy. Everything is energy, right? And I know that we've talked about this on the show before, but it takes 17 seconds for like energy to attract like energy, right? So if you have a negative thought, it takes 17 seconds for you to have another negative thought. And when you get to 68 seconds, just 4 thoughts, you have momentum. And if it's positive momentum, then good for you. If it's negative momentum, then you got to kill that negative momentum, that negative energy. How do you do that? With positive thoughts. Okay, so let's just break this down. Thought is the origin of wealth. You have to think it first. You don't get rich from doing more. You get rich from thinking a certain way with vision, belief, purpose. And the universe, God, responds to clear, directed thought backed by emotion. Okay. So let's take Elon Musk as an example. Elon Musk saw Mars when everyone else saw parking lots. He thought energy created, he thought energy and created PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX. He imagined them, had that vision, and then he acted. J.D. Rockefeller imagined being the richest man in the world. He fantasized about it. He thought about it, and then he planned it out, right? Okay, so one thing that you have to do, kind of the second core thing, is you have to have gratitude, and gratitude aligns you with wealth. Gratitude unites your mind with the source of all things. When you're grateful, again, in my belief system, when you're grateful, God rewards you with more things because you're grateful for what you have. Now, if you don't believe in God, then when I say God, you can say universe. If you think that we all just came out of sludge and I couldn't play chopsticks right now on a piano if I had to, but Beethoven and Bach, they were just born and could just look at it and play. If we're all evolving from the same sludge, I don't know how that happens. So, but you can, when I say God, you can say universe. So Gratitude isn't some feel-good fluff. It keeps your mind tuned to abundance, not fear. You're grateful. Hey, be grateful you woke up this morning, right? You'll never get more if you're always pissed about something you don't have, because you focus then on what you don't have. Oprah journaled gratitude for decades. Coincidence? No, gratitude multiplies. Complaining kills. All right. The next thing is you get rich by the certain way, right? Not like trying to get rich quick. The certain way, the building way, building blocks, building bricks on top of each other. You have to have that clear and definite mental image of the things that you want. If you can't get that vision, keep trying. Do not go to the next step. And then live in that certain way, like that you have it, like you already have it. I'm already rich. I'm already whatever weight you want to be. You don't want to do it like, I'll try to eat less. I'll try to build my wealth, or, no. And it's not, hey, maybe someday. No, riches flow to certainty, not desperation. You must know exactly what you want and act as if it's already yours. Tom Brady believed he was the GOAT long before the world did. He molded his habits and decisions in his career. He said to the Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, when he first met him, the first time he met him, that you drafting me in the 6th round or 7th round, whatever it was the best decision this organization has ever made. Now and he made it to be true, right? All right, so we have to create, don't compete. Competition is not where it's at. You got to rise above the competitive plane onto the creative plane, okay? So most people fight over scraps. Hey, somebody just created this golf club, so I'm going to create a golf club just like it. No, that's not how you do it. Wealthy people create new value. They don't play defense, they play offense. And if you're still trying to beat other people at their game, you've already lost, right? They created the game. Jeff Bezos didn't compete with bookstores. He redefined retail. You shouldn't compete with banks. You become the bank, right? Okay, so here is the last step. You got to do it now, where you are, with what you have. It's not about like, well, someday, when and I hear this from people, and I have a friend who's 29 and she's working at this place that she really doesn't like working. I'm going to stay here a year and then I'm going to just, this will be good stability for me, but it's not good for her mentally or emotionally or anything else. That mentality, I probably had that in my 20s at some point in time. Maybe in your 30s, people have it. But you know what? When you get in your 40s and 50s and beyond, 60s now, I got to say, is you can't have that mentality anymore. Do it now with what you have. Not when I save up enough money, then I'll start getting into real estate or I'll start buying a business. You must act upon the people and circumstances around you. Like who's around you? And if you need to change that, then change that. And quit waiting for permission, perfection, or more information. Start studying real estate. There's a lady at my dentist office, and, she and I met and we talked about how she could start getting into real estate and what she needed to read. And now she's on that journey. Now, where will it go? That's up to her, right? But every day you wait is another day you're chained to somebody else's plan, somebody else's vision. So Sarah Blakely, she launched Spanx with no investors, no connections, and $1,000 savings account. She's a billionaire, creator, owner. All right. So sometimes, how many times have we heard this? Is the love of money is the root of all evil, right? In fact, people always leave that part out. They leave out the love of money. So they just say, money is the root of all evil. So they say that money is the root of all evil, which we know is not true. The love of money is the root of all evil. And you may think that Wattles' book, The Science of Getting Rich, well, getting rich, Jim, is not, well, being broke is selfish. Being in poverty is selfish. You can't serve God and humanity being poor. It's a great disservice to remain in poverty. When I was poor, all I thought about was being rich, right? For me, because I was lacking. I didn't have money. I didn't have resources. I didn't have the things that I wanted and needed. Okay, so once I had that money and I went, whoa, wait a minute. Now I can have all the things that I want. And then what happened? Was I satisfied? Was I happy? No, then I said, wait, I got to show other people how to do this. I have to share my wealth with other people. And have people taken advantage of that over the years sometimes? Sure. But it's not my money anyway. Again, in my belief system, it's God's money. If they stole from God, then I don't want to be them someday when they have to answer for that, right? So, but being broke means you're stuck in survival mode. You can't give, build, or serve anyone else. And people that stay broke because of fear, false beliefs, and bad programming. What's bad programming? Save your money, put it in a 401k, do this, and it creates chains and binds you, right? You're not helping anyone staying small. Now let's go back to Jesus for a minute. Jesus didn't operate in scarcity. He fed how many people? Just a couple? No, thousands. He healed freely, and he never lacked what he needed, right? Does it ever say, and Jesus was lacking this? I mean, poverty-minded rooms kill vision. Abundance-minded environments, they spark expansion, right? We just had a great podcast come out a couple of weeks ago, and it was about one of our clients and how they took their 401k and they turned it into a real estate business, a very profitable one, I might say. And one of the things that he said was, I started going and hanging out with people that were doing what I wanted to do, right? So that was smart. He got around the right people, right? And so you can't pour from an empty wallet. You can't pour from an empty glass or an empty spirit. So if you're not finding these things, and if you were not created for survival, you were created for overflow. Getting rich is your responsibility, not for your ego, but for your impact on the things that you care about. So if you're stuck in thinking that maybe like this is like how do I get that vision? How do I do that? Here's a 3-step process, or 3 things that you can do. Maybe you do one of them, maybe you do all of them. It's up to you, okay? But you got to do a thought audit. Write down what you think about money daily. Is it rooted in fear or faith, and scarcity or abundance? And then declare it. Choose one clear outcome: money, business, an asset, and act like it's already done, right? I mean, I know it's funny and I talk about this, but like, being on this health journey for me. And I just had a great friend, Justin Kraft, called me this morning, and he said, hey, got this picture of you and Harper Jones on the golf course, and man, you look good. He says, I'm just like, he said, like, you're motivating me. Well, if I was 40 pounds overweight, then I wouldn't have motivated him. If I have impact on Justin, and then he has impact on all the people that are around him and his organization, his church, he has, see how this builds? Like, if I motivated Justin to, take his health in a different direction, or accelerate where he's already at, being healthier and healthier and healthier, and then he motivates somebody else, and then he motivates somebody else, and he motivates somebody else, right? See, I mean, like that chain reaction, that compound effect. But if I never do it, then how do I motivate somebody? I can only motivate them the other way. Well, we only get so many years on this earth. I look pretty good for 60. No, I don't want to look pretty good for 60. I want to look pretty good for 30. I want to look very good for 30. So you choose, you declare it, choose one clear thing, but then act like it's already done. Walk around like you got abs if that's one of your goals, okay? And then here's the hard part for people. Cut the noise. Remove one broke-minded person, place, or voice from your life this week. If there's somebody negative in your life that keeps on telling you can't do these things, remove them. Stop playing broke. Start living rich, and spiritually, financially, purposefully. If you need help with this, send me a message. Like, if there's something you're struggling with, send me a message. I mean, I've got books, resources, things like that I can help you with. But like, for me, None of this stuff happened overnight. But as soon as I started focusing on it, I made progress. When I was poor, and again, I tell this story in my book and I've told it before, but I remember this impactful night just because I just we were sleeping behind the Moose Lodge in this grass field. I can still smell it. That's why I got a little bit just like distracted, because I could smell that smell, right? I don't know what plants they were now, this many years later, 50 years later, or whatever it is. But I remember looking up, I can still see these houses on this hill. And I thought to myself, I had this victim mentality just for a minute. And I thought, what are those people? Why do those people get that? And I'm here. And I got mad, right? And I acted out in a lot of ways as a kid. And all of those negative ways got me what? More negativity, right? If I got in trouble with the police, more trouble with the police. If I broke something, broke more things. It wasn't until I realized that the only person that was going to change my life was me. There wasn't somebody coming to save me. There wasn't somebody coming to, a rich uncle that I was going to inherit money from. There wasn't anybody that was going to take me by the hand and show me how to open the door. I had to break the door down, right? And so do you. I don't care if you're 10 years old or 100 years old. If this is what we need to do, we got to break that door, right? And so I did it all the wrong way. I made every mistake that you could make. Got into Wall Street, married my pregnant girlfriend, got divorced 4 years later at 26 years old, was a single dad. Didn't do that very well. I mean, how could I? I had no example of how to be a positive father. But guess what? Kept on trying, kept on making progress. And on my wealth, money came faster than I expected. But wealth didn't, because I really didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't know how to have impact on other people with it. So I just kept on accumulating assets under management. My paycheck went up and up and up and up and up. And my clients, they were happy. I was taking them to breakfast, lunch, dinner, golfing. That was not good for the waistline. Okay. So, and then I realized when I met Nelson Nash and I said, wow, wait a minute, this guy's giving me a different way of looking at this, controlling the banking function. And if I could teach people how to control the banking function, which Nelson taught me, then I could teach them how to go buy assets, and I could teach them how to go buy businesses, and I could teach them to have this huge impact on people, right? And they would have employees and tenants, and all of these positive things would just grow and grow and grow. And who knows, just like Justin being motivated by one picture, maybe a tenant is motivated by one act of kindness, one improvement on the property, a business owner just having that job and wanting more and more and more, and wanting a path, wanting to be an owner, wanting equity, whatever it is, those visions. Now, all of a sudden, I just helped plant that seed in those businesses, and it just exploded because it was in alignment with the science of getting rich, which is a formula. And I recommend that everybody read this book. And I always say this is just remember it was written in 1910. So when you start looking at it and you think, well, this doesn't make sense in today's world, and this, vernacular is wrong, and that's the noise that I'm talking about. Remember, let's just wrap it up with this. Everything is energy. Your thoughts are energy. So when you have a negative thought, take 17 seconds to attract another negative thought. And then when you have 4 thoughts together, 68 seconds, you have momentum, negative momentum. And all we have to do right now, in the next 68 seconds, is I want you to have 4 positive thoughts. Now, this is the easiest way to do it, is you don't have to think about anything other than what are you grateful for. I want you to think of 4 things, 17 seconds apart, that you're grateful for. And then 68 seconds, know that you have that momentum, and then write down a 5th thing that you're grateful for. Write them all down and just look at them. Read those throughout today. And if it works, then do it tomorrow. And if it works tomorrow, then do it the next day and the next day. And if you do it for 90 days, you'll start to form a habit. I know 21 days to form a habit. Just not really sure that's true. 90 days, you're building momentum, right? I didn't get in shape in 21 days. I didn't get in shape in 90 days. I'm not even where I want to be yet, right? I want to be in my 30s on my DexaFit, my biological age. And I'm like in my 40s, in my late 40s, the last DexaFit that I did. But I want to be in the 30s. My massage therapist the other day, she's 53. 38 is her biological age from the DexaFit. My doctor has a patient who's in his 80s, and his biological age is in his 50s, and it's going down. His biological age is younger than his son's. In his 80s, it's going down. So if you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, then you have to, don't think, well, I'm in my 50s. Now I just start to let the waistline go, everything. I've been married for 20, 30 years. No, your wife or husband, they're going to appreciate you getting in shape. And it's going to be positive energy. So what's that going to attract? More positive energy. You want more positive energy from your spouse? I bet you do. So, all right. I don't know. We covered a lot today. I hope that was helpful. I hope you got something out of this episode, and give me some feedback on what you want to see or hear from more solo episodes in the future. But one thing we always do, okay, because I just talked about this in a way like over and over and over again, is we wrap it up the way we always wrap it up, audience, with the incredible words of Earl Nightingale and the strangest secret. And what's the strangest secret? What you think about, you become. Energy attracts more energy. So today, only positive. Any noise, we get rid of it. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time.
Here's the key to success and the key to failure. We become what we think about. Now let me say that again. We become what we think about.
Thanks for listening to the Breakaway Wealth Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to this show wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. If you want to start increasing your wealth building ability right now, go to community.createtailwind.com to join our free online community and get access to free, in-depth training designed to help you build real, lasting wealth. See you next week.